people of Nottingham will hear the evidence and they will decide whether Lansley is guilty or not guilty. If Lansley is found guilty, then he will face the terrible penalty for traitors. He will be hung by the neck until he is dead.
Hey, you alright?
Well, mate, sorry. That's before the trial starts.
I am the chairperson of the People's Court. A People's Court formed here today from the good people of Nottingham. And I urge you to listen carefully to what is said, because you are faced with a mortal threat towards something that you hold to be very dear. Your lives and the lives of future generations could depend on the outcome of what we do here today. We are gathered here to consider an extremely serious charge. The defendant in this case is Health Minister Andrew Lansley, who is accused of the most heinous crime against the people of England. Lansley will stand trial for plotting to destroy the National Health Service.
Outrageous!
What Lansley and his fellow conspirators are accused of is a gross betrayal of trust against the people. It is the crime of treason for which only the most serious penalty is appropriate, the penalty of death. It is the people who are the intended victims of Lansley, and so it is right and proper that Lansley is tried by the people. I call upon you, the people of Nottingham, to form a people's court to consider whether or not Lansley is guilty or not guilty.
Guilty!
Now I will read out the charge which you, Health Minister Andrew Lansley, must face before this people's court. You, Andrew Lansley, are accused of plotting to attack and destroy the National Health Service in England. How do you plead, Andrew Lansley? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty!
As the defendant is silent, I will enter a plea of not guilty into the court record. Now, I call upon the prosecutor to state the case against the accused. Prosecutor.
Good people, the charge against Lansley, the man sat there, is very grave. I will show you all beyond reasonable doubt that Lansley is guilty as charged. As Minister for Health in the coalition government, Andrew Lansley has put a health and social care bill before Parliament. If passed into law, this will effectively privatise our National Health Service, thus destroying it. Lansley and his co-conspirators claim that they are trying to create a better service, but this is not true. The real aim of the changes that Lansley wants to provide is profit-making opportunities for private business. Firstly, at present, the Minister of Health is bound by law to ensure that everybody in this country, each and every one of you, receives proper health care. Lansley's bill removes that requirement. Secondly, before the last general election, Lansley and other Tory leaders pledged that they would ring-fence spending on the NHS, that there would be no cuts in money spent on healthcare. But now they want to cut 20 billion from the NHS budget by 2014. Ladies and gentlemen, they lied to the people. They lied to you. Thirdly, if Lansley's bill is passed, then up to 80% of funds for public health care could be passed over to private profit-making companies. The main aim of such companies is not to care for patients, but to line their own pockets. Lansley and his fellow conspirators want to provide new opportunities for capitalists like them to amass was done recently in the case of Haywood House. There, the threat to shut down daycare for terminal cancer sufferers was prevented by popular intervention. Lansley wants to take this opportunity away. Sixthly, already the paying conditions of staff in the NHS have been under attack. If this man has his way, then most staff will be employed by private companies on inferior terms. And finally, even though Lansley's bill has not yet been approved by Parliament, NHS managers have been illegally instructed to start carrying out the reorganisation.
Disgusting.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, they were my 6 submissions, but with the leave of the court, I have a supplemental charge to bring against the defender, Andrew Lansley.
We want to hear it. Carry on.
Ladies and gentlemen, I was approached today before this trial by a lady that works for the National Health Services. She works in care for people with mental health problems. Under the attacks already being carried out, under the instructions of this man sat here, these services are being cut and managers are intimidating their staff. A doctor went to see his patient the other week and told his patient that very shortly he would no longer be able to treat him. When his patient asked why, the doctor explained that it was because he was being made unemployed, being made redundant because of the cuts already being carried out by the man sat in that chair.
Disgusting.
And ladies and gentlemen, this clinician was then suspended. This is the intimidation and the cuts that are being carried out by the despicable Andrew Lansley. People of Nottingham, thank you for hearing that supplemental charge. The evidence I put before you clearly establishes that this man, the defendant Andrew Lansley, is guilty of betraying the people of England by plotting to destroy our National Health Service. Ladies and gentlemen, you must conclude that the defendant, Andrew Lansley, is guilty of treason.
The case in defence of the accused must be heard because this is a people's court and justice must be done. Now, as chair of the people's court, I call upon the defender to present the case for the defence of Health Minister Andrew Lansley.
People of Nottingham, the charge against Andrew Lansley is extremely serious.
We're not interested.
Yet I shall demonstrate to you that this charge is unreasonable and unjust. Andrew Lansley has been unfairly singled out. If Lansley is guilty of treason, then so have so many other politicians. In which case, why have they not been brought to trial? I will show you, far from being a traitor, Andrew Lansley is simply carrying forward what for a long time has been the policy of healthcare in Britain. You will come to see that the defendant should be acquitted. Firstly, there is nothing new about privatising public healthcare in Britain. Under the Conservative government, led by Margaret Thatcher, our hero, parts of the NHS were turned over to private profit-making companies. This was done with cleaning and catering services. The pay and conditions of staff got worse, but there were more opportunities for capitalists to make profits. Something I'm sure all of us would applaud. Secondly, it was under Tory governments that price competition began to be brought into the NHS. We owe it to the grand old politician man of the people, Kenneth Clark, MP for Rushcliffe, when as Minister of Health he introduced internal markets to encourage competition between hospitals to provide cheaper treatments. Good old Ken. Many years before Lansley, Clark put saving money before treating patients. Thirdly, It's not just the Tories who want to privatise the NHS. Labour governments have played their part too. Give credit where credit is due. In 2000, Labour Health Minister Alan Milburn drew up his NHS plan. This opened the NHS to private companies, forced Foundation Hospital Trust to aim to make profits, just like private firms, and started removing staff from direct employment by the NHS. Only on the basis of Milburn's far-sighted reforms are Andrew Lansley's proposals changes possible.
And Milburn as well.
And a lot of us.
Fourthly, Labour Party leaders have made it clear that any future Labour government would not reverse the changes which Andrew Lansley wants. After all, Labour have laid down the foundations upon which the coalition government is able to try and take privatisation further. Only recently, Alan Milburn complained about the government softening down some of their proposed changes. People of Nottingham, I have said enough to demonstrate that there is nothing unique or unusual about Andrew Lansley's conduct as Minister of Health.
He still deserves to be hung.
He's simply carrying on where previous ministers, both Tory and Labour, left off. The privatisation policy is a cross-party one, supported by the Conservatives, Labour and many other politicians.
That would completely throw.
It is unfair and unjust to single him out. He's only trying to carry forward what has been, for several decades, the health policy of the British state. How can this be treason? I say this to the People's Court. It is your duty to acquit Andrew Lansley.
Rubbish, rubbish.
This innocent man who stands falsely accused of betraying the people of England. Let's let justice be done.
People of Nottingham, this is a people's court, and it is for you to decide the innocence or guilt of the accused Andrew Lansley. I call upon any person here who wants to have a say on this case to speak out. People of Nottingham, have your say. Let the court hear you.
Well, I say it might be true what the defending chap said about he's not the only one, but that doesn't make any difference. Just because he's not the only one, it doesn't mean he's innocent. We should hang him, and we should hang them all. Doesn't matter whether they're Labour, Lib Dem, Conservative or anything, they're all in it together, they're all guilty. He can just be the first.
Speak out! Anybody here, have your say about Lansley's attempt to destroy the NHS. Express your views. Defend him if you like. Attack him if you like. Speak out.
Anyone got a knife?
Say that into here.
You have to come to the front, you want to speak out.
And anyone got a knife so we can stab him now instead of hanging him? It'll be a lot quicker.
Come on now. You are the court. You must decide the verdict. Let's hear your views. Come forward.
Anyone?
Don't be intimidated by Lansley. He's under arrest.
Here's a lady who wants to say something. She's a bit shy.
I think this lady works in the National Health Service.
I think he's guilty and he deserves everything he gets. Think of the thousands of people he's going to kill with this bill.
Hey! Anybody else? Come on now. Come on now. I know you're all anxious to see justice is done, but justice must need to be done.
I say save our NHS. The NHS is one of our greatest national treasures. This man is trying to destroy it. Hang Andrew Lansley.
Getting a queue now, huh?
Hello there.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm convinced that hanging is too good for Andrew Lansley. We know that our government has very good contacts with the Pakistani Secret Service and Interrogation Service. We also know that we're very good at assisting and enabling extraordinary renditions. So I say, Andrew Lansley off to Pakistan to be interrogated. And after that, I'm sure there's still plenty of room in Guantanamo Bay.
I want to say a few words on behalf of the Nottingham pensioners. Pensioners at the moment take 60% of the cost outside the NHS. And I'm not so sure that hanging Lansley is the correct way to go. I think he ought to live to an old age and suffer the indignities and the trauma that pensioners are going to be putting up with. Already, post-operative treatments are being extended. Pensioners are being kept into their homes because they can't get carers to look after the feet. So we've got a position here where not only is the NHS reforms going through, but it's coupled on social care with the do not reply. So now, not only will you pay your national insurance, but you'll be having to take out insurance as well to pay for your old age pension and care. Now then, currently at the moment, £1 billion of the existing budget of 100 billion is taken out in profit by private companies. And we've got to stop this action that's taking place. So I want Andrew Lansley to live in an old care home where he's not getting proper treatment, where there is cases of him being slapped and what have you. Sad thing, but that's what's happening to a lot of our pensioners now.
From the old to the young.
This man is going to make many people suffer. He shouldn't just be hung, he should be hung, drawn and quartered so he can suffer.
Anybody else?
Maybe I'm in the minority, but let's not forget what Labour put us through. I say David Cameron's got balls for doing something about it. Can't carry on spending and wasting money like Labour did, or else we'll be in a situation like Greece. Maybe they shouldn't touch the NHS, but
Tax the rich!
yeah, maybe you should tax the rich, but
120 billion pounds avoiding the finding or avoiding not collecting tax here.
NHS is paid with our tax money, it's not
yeah, well,
Let him have a say.
at least David and his government have got the balls to do something though.
Do it for themselves, eh? Tax the poor! All for themselves.
A very good event.
Has he got a suicide mission?
Anybody else? One more.
I'd like to reply to that. We actually have, I think, the second best health service in the world? Something like that. US is where we're going to. It's 37 in the world. That's where we're heading. And actually we have the most cost-efficient health service. One of the most cost-efficient health services in the world. So actually to say we throw money at the NHS, yes we do, but we spend a hell of a lot less than America do. We're privatised, so it is going to get worse.
The people have expressed their views, and now we have to proceed to the summing up. As Chair of the People's Court, I will sum up the evidence for and against the charge that Lansley has been plotting with treasonous intent to attack and destroy our National Health Service. First of all, the prosecution. The evidence the prosecution put forward was very damning. The prosecutor has shown that Lansley wants to reduce state responsibility for healthcare, cut healthcare funding, turn over most healthcare to private companies, put spending caps on the amount of treatment we get, remove democratic controls, and reduce pay and conditions of health service staff. Perhaps most significant is even though Lansley's bill has not yet been passed by Parliament, the managers in the health service have already been ordered to make the necessary changes. So there is very strong evidence to show not just the clear intent on Lansley's part to destroy the health service, but also that he's actually started to rip it apart.
Disgusting.
Now, the case for the defence is that Lansley has been unfairly singled out, that there's plenty of other politicians.
Bring them all here!
All right. Tory, Labour, Lib Dem, who've also been involved in the plot to destroy the health service. All right. This seems to be the case, but it's not a valid defence in law to say that one should not be published because others are guilty as well. It's not acceptable to say they're all doing it, so why shouldn't I? The prosecutor's evidence suggests that executioner, hang him high. Hang the vile traitor, Lansley, high on the gibbet, so that his co-conspirators can see what will happen to those who dare to try to destroy our National Health Service. Justice has been done.
Anybody else? Come on, have a throw. Oh, he's green. Oh, you're telling me, mate. You really don't like him. Can't blame you. Oh, well, I'll do yourself.
I think we better pick them up now before we get an 80 quid fine. I'm surprised the police officer's not come across yet and said we're littering.
We're going to be here for a while. Have a bit of an open forum. Anybody wants to speak, they're welcome to do so.
Anybody want to throw? We'll have a throw.
Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't the only place where we're protesting today. If any of you want to walk up Humber Street to the HSBC, you'll find that our colleagues in Notts Uncut, part of UK Uncut, are protesting on behalf of the National Health Service in the HSBC on Humber Street. The reason for these protests is because our NHS is being rigged by the bank which is the HSBC. Through the PFI, Private Finance Initiative, or perhaps what would be better be called Profit from Illness Scheme, they're charging inflated prices such as £200 to replace a plug socket to our hospitals. And by doing this, the HSBC Bank is rinsing our National Health Service each year of £38 million. That's £38 million of your money that could be spent on doctors, on nurses, on cleaning staff, on medicines and other critical healthcare things is going directly into the pockets of shareholders of the HSBC Bank. Not only are they rinsing money out of your NHS, but they're putting that money into an offshore tax haven in Guernsey and paying next to no tax on the money, your money, that they steal out of the NHS. So ladies and gentlemen, when you're finished here today, I'd be appreciative if you could swing by HSBC and show your solidarity to the guys from Notts Uncut who are protesting in that bank today. Thank you very much.